I'm torn. I'm torn with this one. Uh, this is the Eclipsed Celestial Spirit arc. And only half of it, is what the title says. The first half of it is exactly what the title says. It's about the celestial spirits, and they're quote unquote eclipsed, so they're different versions of themselves. They're evil now. We never get any kind of explanation as to how this happened. We just know that it happened one day. And so they have to be beaten, and their keys have to be sealed so that they can go back to normal. So all 13 Zodiacs have to be beaten, and it's also revealed that the Celestial Spirit King has also been quote unquote eclipsed. And it's just, that's only the first half of the arc. The second half is nothing but pointless, incredibly distracting, incredibly annoying episodes that I can't stand. I can't stand a single episode that happens after the Eclipsed Celestial Spirits arc is over. Now, the Eclipsed Celestial Spirit arc, honestly, between the three fillers, this one is probably my favorite by default, because I can't stand the other two. But this one does have some interesting ideas in terms of like the battles that take place, like how each of these celestial spirits are defeated. And some of these celestial spirits do have interesting new forms, like Gemini's new forms are a couple of kids. Loki's new form looks actually pretty badass. The snake charmer, the 13th Zodiac, she has an interesting form. Not sure what's with the getup. I really don't understand why she's a nurse, but whatever. But yeah, some of them have interesting transformations. They have interesting new forms that none of them are going to keep or even remember. Yeah, that's the thing. No one even remembers that this whole thing happened. None of the spirits remember that it all happened. So, again, making this arc entirely pointless. But some of the battles are very creative. The one that stuck out the most for me would have to be the Yu-Gi-Oh montage battle, the Yu-Gi-Oh homage battle, pretty much, between Scorpio and Shank's daughter. And the two of them, their battle was actually really entertaining. I was grinning ear to ear the whole time because I loved Yu-Gi-Oh as a kid, and so seeing them actually pay homage to Yu-Gi-Oh was that did make me happy. I also kind of liked the whole quiz show that Levy had against Capricorn, which I'm really starting to like Levy more and more as these arcs go on. She's starting to become a really interesting character that I'm actually starting to look forward to seeing more of. Same thing with Lazana. So yeah, so I'm actually getting a few more characters that I'm actually starting to enjoy. I mean, it's no longer just Wendy, Erzing, Gaijil. I now have Lizana, Levy, and Mira Jane that I also kind of enjoy too. So like six characters. Six characters, that's more than enough. If the show can't keep me interested with six enjoyable characters, then there's no hope for it. Um, but yeah, so some of these battles are very interesting, some of them not so much. But overall, it was okay. It wasn't one of the worst filler arcs I'd seen. It wasn't good, but it wasn't horrible. It was passable. Until you get to the second half of the arc, which has absolutely nothing to do with eclipsed celestial spirits, to the almost to the point where I'm starting to think that this arc was actually supposed to be two filler arcs split up. Like the Eclipsed Celestial Spirit arc, and then there's the Pointless arc. Because that's what each of these episodes are. They're just completely pointless, have nothing to do with anything. And, yeah. So I don't see a reason for any of the episodes after that. I remember there was one episode, the last episode, in this quote unquote arc, where it was all about what's his face from Blue Pegasus, man, yeah, him, and basically it was just zombies. Yeah, it was a zombie apocalypse episode, except instead of turning into zombies, everybody was turning into men. And yeah, it was oddly terrifying. Especially when I had to see characters that I enjoyed, Levy, Mira Jane, and Lizana and Urza and Gaijil, see all of them get turned into this, and it's just like, oh god, it was, ugh. I don't want to get into it. So I'm torn. The second half of this arc was god awful. I hated it with a fiery passion. I hated it worse than I hated the Daphne arc. The fucking Daphne arc. But this first part was okay. And honestly, by comparison to the second part of the arc, the first half was good. The second half of the arc was that bad. It was so bad, it made the first half look good. So, I'm so torn. I have no idea what to give this. I am completely clueless as to what rating to give this. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this 2 ratings. One for the first half of the arc, and one for the second half of the arc. The first half gets a 7. The first half gets a 7, and that's mainly because some of the battles and character designs were actually pretty interesting. And compared to the other 2 arcs, this one was actually pretty good compared to those 2. And the second half, the part that's completely pointless, that gets a freaking -5 out of any negatives. -5 on the negative scale. It's bad. It's really bad. But yeah, so that's all I got. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, everyone.